YouTube go and get it, and we'll get the Facebook one.
We are the lads from the Tilton. We'll support you till the end of the day. We're so happy following the blues. We love you, what more can we say? Birmingham's the team, down at St Andrews. We are all supporters of our team. We chanted Super Blues, ringing all around. Now all you blue boys know what we mean. We are the lads from the Tilton. We'll support you till the end of the day. We're so happy following the blues. We love you, what more can we say? Let's hear you in the car, singing our song, helping and sharing the load. It's worth the point of road when we sing together. We're there at the end of the road. We are the lads from the Tilton. We'll support you till the end of the day. We're so happy following the blues. We love you, what more can we say? We have the team that's tops here at St Andrews. They're gonna give us what we're longing for. It's Birmingham forever, let's hear it from the stand. So come on City, sing this song once more. We are the lads from the Tilton.
Greatly sponsored by Boyle Sports, the principal sponsor of Birmingham City Football Club, and of course our good friends at SAS Autos and Bawdsey Labour Club. What a weekend that was. Taylor 2 penalties. Right at the end of the game, it came alive on the 86th, 87th minute, something like that, and we come away with a draw. I feel we should have really nailed that one, we should have nailed that one. However, what we'll do is we'll get on with the show and we'll get all your thoughts, comments and opinions, and let's just have a bit of a laugh on the way. Welcome, Mrs. Brown.
Good evening.
Welcome to the one and only Mr. Sheen, Paul Hipkiss.
Good evening, all.
And good evening to Mr. Robe.
Hello, everybody.
And our special guest tonight, the one and only, ladies and gentlemen, Wayne Elcock.
Good evening.
Right, I'm still in possession of me Excessive Blues COVID mask, as the infection rate has gone up all over the world by the look of it. So it don't look to me like we'll be seeing any football this season. What do you reckon, Paul?
No chance.
No, unfortunately not. No, it's not looking very likely at all, is it? I think it's probably going to be, well, I'm hoping it's going to be next season, sort of August next year. But, there's always that glimmer of hope. But it's very sad, isn't it, when you're on a match day? I was just saying before we came on, it gets to 12, 1 o'clock and you start to feel it a bit, don't you? It's like, I'll just be on my way now, just be on my way down there.
Yeah. But, anyway, welcome, Wayne. Big Birmingham City fan, of course.
Yeah.
Massive.
And quite a little star in the old boxing ring. Do you want a quick leveller outside, mate? Quick leveller outside.
Yeah, done a little bit, yeah.
I'm happily retired now, mate. Happily retired.
Happily retired.
Happily retired. Leave it to the young kids now.
Come on. There's always a good kid, everybody, mate. Okay.
Actually,
welcome to my brother. My brother Mick.
How old am I now?
Yeah, sorry.
46.
No way!
46. I know I don't look it, but 46.
Yeah, I'm going to welcome your brother Mick. Going to sit tonight, Chris.
I was going to say, I hope I look that well when I'm 46, but I don't look that good now.
No. I mean, look at me and Nick. No, don't.
Yeah,
Paul's-
welcome
Paul's
to the
only-
brother.
Paul's
He's
only
joined in the
18.
show tonight, and
Go on, Nick.
basically, my brother Mick's joined in the show tonight. He came up to see me yesterday. Marvellous to see him. I haven't seen him for a few years, and we had a little bit of a Mr. Floor session, shall we say, a Mr. Floor proper session. We had a little drink of rum in the house. Then we went downstairs for one, then to the Bolts for two, and then to the Swan for one, then the Talbot for one, then back to the Bolts for another two. And there's not much left in the litre bottle of whiskey either. So not a lot of work was done today.
Yeah.
Was that just to celebrate a draw, Nick?
A draw, yeah. You watch me when we get a win, kid. Oh dear. He's saying I still look a bit rough.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do look a bit rough.
Well, you know. Okay, the gilet is back. Look, winter
Yay.
coming. So I've got to wrap up and keep warm because I'm quite an old frail git. You know what I mean?
Yeah. When he gets your age, mate.
Mick saying, in case you're wondering why I'm looking so rough, he tried to keep up with me last night. Poor little lad. I should have took his photograph with his gob out and fast asleep on the settee, shouldn't I?
Yes, you should have. Yeah.
Oh dear. Okay, Wayne, talk us through your career then.
Oh, jeez.
Go on,
Yeah,
mate.
box-
Go on. Go for it, mate.
Boxed for a hell of a long time. 25 years in Tilton, and through the amateurs, got myself at the top of the tree as an amateur, and then moved into the professionals. Won the English title, the British, the Commonwealth, the WBU World title, and also challenged for the IBF World title over in Switzerland as well. And finished really as manager for the British and Commonwealth. I got more pleasure out of coaching kids myself, and I started moving into the coaching side, which I'm still doing today. And so it was time to hang them up. Really, I think when you're doing something like that, your heart's got to be in it completely. I love my career. I enjoyed the time in there, but when you're getting more of a buzz out of watching the kids coming through, it was time for me to move on. And I've left, intact. Really, I left at the top of the game, which is how I kind of wanted to leave out of it. I wasn't going to stay in the sport and end up taking defeats that I didn't need to. I'd set myself up. Thankfully, I've got a great coach in Paddy Lynch, who you guys probably heard of.
Yeah.
Who obviously had Rob McCracken and stuff. And Paddy Lynch was not only my trainer, but a great mentor as well. And he made sure I could come out the sport with a few quid and set up my own businesses and stuff after I finished. So I retired from the sport rather than the sport retire, mate. And it's something I'm trying to obviously teach my kids now, get them to come out the sport at the end of it, enjoy a great career and come out of it and be able to have a life after, enjoy a life after it. So
where did the nickname come from, mate? Mad Dog?
Mad Dog was a mad period where literally, I stopped boxing when I was 21 after the ABA finals, where I felt I got robbed. But on the day, and literally walked away from the sport. Really, my friend had just committed suicide, so I entered after a 3-year gap. My friend had committed suicide, so I entered the ABAs in his memory, and everyone said I would be mad. You're not going to get past the first round. This is the elite championships. You must be crazy. And I had to enter for him, and I went all the way to the final. As I say, I felt I got robbed in the final, so I walked again feeling I'd let him down. Unfortunately for me, a few years later, the Mad Dog came in that period after, where I went off the rails, went up the town, your domes and whatever else, and you go out in the piss, and all my pals know he's a bit of a boxer. So I ended up getting myself in loads of trouble, fighting all the time, and that's where it all come from, really, to be fair. I couldn't really handle my drink very well, and got myself into a few naughty situations, and that's where that sort of came from, really, to be fair. When I spoke to the...
Turn that round, Wayne.
Go on, mate.
How did you turn that bad period round?
Well, let me tell you now, how I turned it round was, unfortunately for me, my dad died in a car accident, and it struck me to the bone, to be fair. I remember going to the funeral and, literally... My dad never used to give me a lot of praise when I boxed, I could knock a kid out in a round, and my dad would say, what about that right hand hit within the first round, son? It weren't about the results, So he kept me going. And I remember going to the funeral and speaking to a lot of people at the funeral, and they're like, you're the star boxer your dad was always talking about and what have you. And I thought, I'm not actually. I'm a bum at this moment in time. I'm just drinking. I'm fighting. I'm just being an idiot, basically. My life was completely out of control. And it's mad how you take things. I took the first thing and went, come back into amateur boxing with a friend who committed suicide. And it was my dad. Unfortunately for me, the two worst things that have happened in my life are used as a positive. Rather than going the other day and drinking more, I went, right, it's time to get back in the gym, and I'm going to try and make him proud. And all the way through my career, right the way through the whole of my career, I used to have a picture of my best friend in one boot and a picture of my dad in the other. And I felt that I was fighting for them, not just me. And that gave me that extra. I think if anything in life, you need a reason. And they were my reason, and the reason why I wanted to win the titles and stuff. So, yeah, massive massive influence.
Quite
on
powerful,
me.
actually, isn't it? You know, a picture of each. Blimey, that's quite.
Yeah,
powerful.
a picture of each, and in each boot. And as I say, I'll be honest with you. After I beat Howard Eastman and become the first British fighter ever beat him in a 12-year reign that he had, and I took the British and Commonwealth. After that fight, I had 3 more fights. But you know what? I never had the picture in either boot because my dad remembered Howard Eastman. My dad would know Howard Eastman at the time. And I remember thinking after I beat him, it was the only fight where I really got emotionally attached at the end of the result. I remember him shouting the winner and the new, and I just sank to my knees and I was like, wow, I've done it.
Wow.
And that, for me, part of me left me that day. Part of me left me that day because I was like, Dad, I've beat him, you know, because a lot of people rated him really high. So it was kind of the end of my career as well, in some respects. I'd achieved what I wanted to do, and hopefully from that result, I'd kind of made him proud. So, crazy.
Yeah,
you
made them both.
I'm sure your dad was proud anyway, Wayne. Keep right
Yeah,
up.
100%.
Craig Courtney wants to know why blues.
Why blues?
Yeah.
Why do I follow blues?
Yeah.
For me, I grew up in Chardin, to be fair, which is split both ways. You've got a bit from the enemy and a bit from the blues as well. Why blues for me? It was I literally just got caught up in that in the path with all the lads on Oxabate. We were all blues fans. We just as a kid, that's it. I just followed that path like most kids do.
Yeah, so it wasn't a parent thing then. Your dad did.
No, it wasn't a parent. No. Believe it or not, my dad wasn't really a sportsman. He was a runner. He wasn't really into football, and he wasn't really into boxing as such. Although he liked the sports, he wasn't really an avid fan. So it wasn't really from a parent perspective, or even, you know, I've got no brothers. I was an only child, so it couldn't even be for that. So it was purely from memory. It was from my pals. I mean, one of my pals, one of the guys I grew up with, and I've known him well still today, Matty Fox, who played for the Blues, obviously. Now Matty was a few years older than me, but he was from my area. And I remember Matty and Tatey as well. They were from my area, so obviously that draws you in as well, seeing them guys going on and doing well. So obviously that was the pull for me, the lure, and obviously it was a lot more local than what Liverpool or any of the other big clubs are all about. You know, I could go and actually watch a game of football, whereas I find a lot of young kids were following the Liverpools and stuff at that time. Rather than going down and supporting the local clubs.
Still do, don't they?
Up there, is it?
Well, still do, still do.
Yeah.
Well, what was your first game, Wayne?
In Sweden, then?
Sorry.
Tell us about what happened in Sweden. How did you get robbed?
No, in the ABAs, you mean?
Yeah.
In the ABAs. It was in the ABAs. It was freestanding counts that I received while I was in the ring. Literally, you get freestanding counts and the fight's over. But there was at no time was he in any trouble on any of them standing counts. So basically, the referee was from the same area as the kid that I was boxing. So it was just a quick way of getting him out there. The referee didn't ref again after that on the championships. It did come out, but that was no good to me because the national title had gone then. So obviously I was disillusioned with the sport and so forth at the amateur level. So I didn't box amateur again. I literally went professional. So at the age of 20 there, I was doing that. And then at 25, I was turning professional after, you know, also I had a lot of years out where I'd gone off the rails. And you think you'd missed the boat. I boxed in the amateurs with people like Nazim Hamid and stuff like that. And I remember being down the pub with the lads and you're half totted and you go, Nazim Hamid was on the telly. You're like, I used to box with a shut up Elcock, you know what I mean? They think I was pulling the leg kind of thing because I wasn't boxing at that time. But it was mad. You watch them all go on and do well and achieve and win titles. And I was like, I was at that level. Yeah, of course you was, Wayne. So again, it was a nice thing when I got to turn pro and I turned with Frank Maloney. And it was an opportunity for me really to then, you know, prove if I was as good as what my dad said I was. That's what it was all about for me, to see if I could do it. And thankfully, you know, I went on to be number 1 in the country and so forth, and like number 5 in the world and so forth. So I've done well in the end of it.
Some great credentials.
Did you went over to America for a bit, didn't you, Wayne?
I trained with Marvin Agler's trainer, Goody Petronelli. I spent, to be fair, I went back probably for the 4 or 5 years. I was back and forward in America. Goody actually wanted me to live in America, but obviously I've got kids, and to do that upheaval and to move over there, it wasn't really for me. Yeah. You know, for me, the challenge, and I started working with Goody before I won the British title. So for me, it was kind of like I wanted to be in Britain. I wanted that British title. I think any fighter, any professional fighter wants that British title. It's the best belt out there. You know, it's a beautiful belt, and so proud to be a English champion and British champion, obviously. So that's kind of kept me in this country and continued my career. And also, I had a fantastic relationship with Paddy Lynch. As I say, he was a great mentor for me. Goody was like literally I could go over to see Goody anytime I wanted. It was an experience. It was crazy the first time I went there. And you kind of like working out with Petronelli, and then you come back and you see all the pictures of him with Hagler doing the runs and I've just been in that gym. I've just been training with that guy. It was a crazy experience, surreal.
And who's your favourite fighter of all time, Wayne?
You know what? I've got a few, to be fair. And thankfully, I've been lucky to meet him. My favourite fighter of all time. I used to love Sugar Ray Leonard. He was one of the ones that really got me into it. Leonard, brilliant fight, which was crazy when I went to Hagler's gym.
Hagler was brilliant as well, wasn't he? Yeah.
But Hagler was also, one of my favourites. Mike Tyson. More modern day, you'd probably say I used to love Nigel Benn. Not for the thing, but just the determination. I love Nigel Benn. Who else? Mike Tyson, obviously everyone liked Mike in his day, and then early 20s, he was just phenomenal. I just said he was the only person that I would stay up till 3 o'clock in the morning. He'd knock the man out in 30 seconds, and I was happy. Was anyone else done that? If Lennox done that or anyone else, you'd be like, you idiot. I've stayed up all night. Yeah. Like that, 30 seconds work, come on. But you expected it with Tyson, and you were still buzzing after the fight, So, unbelievable fighters.
As a professional boxer, as a professional fighter, though, you've got to go for that, haven't you? You can't sit back on your laurels and think, well, I'm going to run this out for half an hour just because there's an audience there. You want to batter them and get on.
It's styles make fights, and I wasn't a Mike Tyson kind of puncher, but I could bang and I could knock a few people out, and I had a punch that commanded respect. I wasn't like the guy who stopped me in 5 rounds. I wasn't an Arthur Abrams. I wasn't a one-punch knockout person, but I had a punch of respect. Unfortunately, this game, you don't like Tyson. You say you don't get paid for overtime, but at the same time, you can't put something that's not there. Some fighters just don't really have a punch, so they have to run for 12 rounds or box for 12 rounds. They know they're not going to knock people out. So it's difficult. You've just got to make sure you're prepared. I was always prepared whether it was going to go 12 rounds or whether it was going to go 1 round. Obviously, it was just a massive bonus if I could get them out early doors in a round or two. My ultimate aim was always to try and get them out sooner than the 12 rounds. But you've got to prepare just in case that doesn't happen. As Mike Tyson found against Buster Douglas. Yeah. He didn't prepare for 12 rounds and ended up getting knocked out.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. You're not always going to be on top in the fight either, are you? And it must be so difficult when you're not to get yourself to the top and win the fight. I mean, I think more recently of Joshua when he fought Klitschko and he put him on the floor, obviously, and he came back to win, which was phenomenal. And, what's it like when you're in the ring and you're in that situation?
It ticks the box. You know what? I'll be honest. I've not really had that happen to me. I wish it did. I wish I was in one of them gunslinging fights. But I'll be honest. If I was on it 110% and I was on it and there wasn't any problems around it, I didn't find it hard. With East Move, any of them. If I wasn't there and my mind wasn't there, then literally the inevitable happened. With Abrams getting beaten and so forth, and Macklin and so forth. If I'm there though, 9 times I didn't have that kind of where I had to really drag myself up and ride the outside. Every boxer wants it, but unfortunately for me, if I was switched on, usually I kind of made it easy. I found the tactics and just stayed with it. Yeah, it's having that discipline. It's having the discipline to do it.
Yeah. Fair play. So tell us, what was your first Blues game then, Wayne?
It was against the Villa, believe it or not.
Was it?
Yeah, it was against the Villa, and I come on and I remember saying to Tom in the side because I was doing an interview in the gym, and Tom was in there. Tom used to use our gym, and he said, "I didn't know you played a bit of football, Wayne. You should come and play for us." And that's how it kind of started. Because I told him about obviously having trials when I was a young.
Oh, you mean when you played for the All Stars? Sorry, I meant like as a fan.
Sorry.
So because Wayne, you play for the All Stars as well, don't you? Tom's team.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Go for
what I meant was, what was your first match as a fan? Sorry, but tell us about that as well.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's so like my first one for the the All Stars who we played for. Tom got me on board there, and I said, "Remember my debut against the Villa." Believe it or not, I remember sitting in and I still do it now. And I wind him up now, to be fair. And I'll say to Tom and that, obviously. We got Kevin Francis playing at the time and a few of the others. I would have got that, And I'll say it when Debs is on for the crack and that'll be in the back and going, I would have scored that time. Shut up, Elcock, Get me on there. I want to score a few goals. But I remember coming off the bench and setting one up and we beat him 2-1 on the day. It was 1-0 down when I come on the park. And I remember setting one up and literally we beat him 2-1. And that was my first game from that. It was like 12 years ago now. And me and Gordon Cowans had a bit of a set-to on the park.
Ooh, tell us more. Go on.
Yeah, well, literally...
That's a bit of a mismatch.
Me and Sid, if you like, he crashed into me and he kind of bounced off and he was on the floor kicking and flying on the floor and he stood up and he got right into my face and I went, mate, you're talking to the wrong person. and he looked round and he went, maybe I am. And literally walks away and walks away, literally. At the end of the game, the Evening Mail pulled us. I've got the picture up in my shop. And the Evening Mail said, "Can we have a picture?" And Sid said, "Look, you ain't going to hit me, are you, Wayne?" He went, "It's all right." He said, "I've seen red mist," he said. And then I looked round, I seen like Daly and Morley, and that were like literally you're on your own. And I realised I said it to the wrong person, kind of thing. But no, it was fun times, mate. To be fair, as I say, it's but yeah, it's the first game. To be fair, that I went down to was, what was it, playing against? Who was you playing against when we went down? The first time we went down there. No, because I went down in my football. I used to play for a local Sunday league football team, a Sunday team, and they took me down to my first game. I'll be honest with you, the boxing for me was a saviour. From being honest, I wasn't there every week because we didn't have any money. The truth be known, that people. Well, I've said this anyway. People know the score. We I didn't have the money to go to every match and stuff. So it was my football team, my Sunday league football team that actually. I used to play for Warburton Royals, and these were the ones who literally took me to my first game. But yeah, because we couldn't afford it, mate. To be honest, there was many times even at me boxing, and this is what I like about boxing. I remember going to my club and literally, I'd turn up. And Les, the guy who was my first coach, he was at Kinghurst. He was my first coach, and he knew I didn't have the money. It was only £1, and the amount of times that I didn't have that £1, but he wouldn't embarrass me. And he'd just go on, Elcock, go up, get on the bags, and just let me crack on. I love that about the sport of boxing. To me was affordable. The first 4 fights I had as a boxer, I boxed in someone else's boots. And then the parents of that kid bought me my first pair of boots.
That's brilliant.
It was the only way for a kid from an area like mine, if you like, if I'm being honest, for me was probably through football or boxing. And that's why I think, you like your tighties and stuff and that. It was a window, weren't it? It was a window opportunity. Sport gives so many kids from areas like with the ones I grew up in, with your Shardens and stuff like that. It gives us so much of an opportunity to earn a few quid really and to make a career. We never really look at education. I play for, your cricket and your football teams and your rugby. I play for all the sports teams at school. I excelled at sports. But education, I'm being honest. I mean, I try and preach it to the kids now to work hard at school. And I wish I had done a little bit more as at school, but I think most of my aspirations was to obviously either be a pro footballer or a pro boxer. And thankfully, I managed to make that happen. But I go into schools now and I speak to kids and I say, God forbid if I would have got injured, then I need an education to fall back on. So this is what I preach to these kids that going around, and they might be on the books, and yourself, and I know even more now playing with the guys that I play with for the All Stars and stuff. How little. Or how many of them kids actually make it through to the actual top tier, and there isn't very many.
It's not many.
So you do need a fallback, don't you?
Definitely.
So we try and preach on the education side a little bit more on that. You live and learn. My 2 girls are in uni, well, the one's just finishing off uni now, and so obviously I've put that onto them. So yeah, it's a bit of a struggle. Like I say, for me, I think as a kid growing up around here, that's what I'm trying to do. We've got a boxing club in Chelmsley Wood. Obviously, I've got the club there. The 2 pros that have just gone pro with me, they're from Chelmsley Wood. Again, an area where this is probably their escape route, really, and hopefully we can make them a few quid and they can do what I do and do what they want in later in life, much later in life. Start themselves up.
That's fantastic, guys. It's good stuff.
I was going to say, Wayne, do you ever wish you could jump in a time machine and go back to having that choice of football or boxing? Would you ever wonder what would happen if you had a choice football?
Well, what? I think, to be fair, it was probably a good job I did choose boxing, because I don't think it kind of turned until much later on, did it? In terms of, no, I don't know. Now I've played with pros, if you like. Now I've played with pros. Now I've been out on the part with Devlin and Kenner and the likes of and Carsley and all them guys. I kind of know that I think in the heart of hearts that I probably wouldn't have made it. Or if I did make it, it would have been right at the lower tier, possibly. Would I have got the same sort of result success as I did as a boxer? I don't think I would have. So if I'm looking at it like that, then no. Would I have been, one of the standout players? Like I was as a fighter, so to speak, then probably no. So I think I probably made the right decision. But at the same time, it's crazy because while I was still boxing, I was actually a pro boxer. I remember breaking my finger before a British title defence. That's how much I love football. Whereas really, should I have been playing football? Should I? Hell, but I can't help myself. You know, I wanted to still play.
Did you
find?
find?
You know, football's my passion. Football's my love. I love football.
Yeah.
You know, I love boxing. But yeah, I think you've just got to look at it. And I say to some of the kids now that are good at football and boxing, it's kind of, it is hard. It is that decision to make, but you've got to kind of look at what one you're going to probably excel at more and what you're going to get the most out of. So I think on that score, I think, yeah, definitely I probably went down the right route. But don't get me wrong, if I could have put a Blues shirt and played for the Blues, like we do that's the beauty of playing for the All-Stars. Now we get to play at the Blues.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? For me, that's mental.
Yeah.
Pete Taylor's asking a question here. He says, can we talk Wayne into doing a charity fight with Agbong Lahore?
Yeah.
No, but unfortunately, I've done a charity fight at the Blues Ground. They got me every time. We've done one at the Blues Ground with Tony Okie from Portsmouth, the former light heavyweight British and Commonwealth champion. And I said that was for one night only. We raised a hell of a lot of money for Libby May's charity, local charity that support incubators. And you probably guys anyway. We've done a lot of stuff down the Blues. So yeah, we raised a hell of a lot of money for them, and they pulled me out every time because they were doing it at the Blues. And it was like, you've ticked one off my bucket list there as a pro boxer, and would I've loved to have boxed at the Blues. I mean, David, the Golds brought me down there after I won the title and stuff, and they were like, literally, we were speaking about obviously the opportunity to box at the Blues if I'd got to that level of, you know, winning a world title or whatever it might be. It never quite materialised, so obviously I'd retired. So to get me out of retirement after 8 years. Being retired, you know, it was like, it's at the Birmingham City ground. I'm like, wow, yeah, I mean, come on then, let's do it. You know, after booking it.
Craig Courtney's asking, who do you think would win out of AJ and the Gypsy King?
You know, it's hard work, to be fair. I'll be honest, it's styles make fights. And you can look at it, and on paper, you can say, you know, literally, you think you've got to slightly lean towards Fury. He's just got that movement and so forth. But you never know. You know, AJ's got a big shot. I mean, both of them have proved that they, you know, if they get caught, they can get hurt. So you can't really say it's like he's got an iron chin. Neither of them got an iron chin in that score. But this is heavyweight boxing, and anything can happen. AJ's a lot taller. There's not much difference in the height, you know. So it just depends on what style, who's on their A game on the night. Sometimes I think in boxing at that level, at the top level, it's just who's going to bring their A game on the night.
Frame of mind, I think, as well. Frame of mind on the night as well.
Yeah, 100%.
Especially with the Gypsy King, you know he's had
the game's 70% mental, you know, for me. Yeah. I've met both the guys, and they're both great guys. I mean, I went down with my guys down sparring at Ricky Hatton's gym, and Tyson was there. Fury was there with Billy Joe Saunders on the day. And you know, this is the mark of a good man now. He came over to me out of his way. Remember, he's just boxed, he beat Wilder and all the rest of it. And he's been at this top level. And he come over to me and he said, Mr. Elcock, he said, the last time I seen you was on your undercard. And he was talking about me last ever fight on the Macklin fight. But as I say, you know, it just shows how humble the guy is. You know, he spoke to me for a bit, and I was like, wow, and I was going to me, lads, did you hear that? You know, that's how I want you to be. You know, keep your feet on your ground. And he's such a great bloke. And as I say, AJ, I met him and he was exactly the same. You know, I remember people he took some pictures with people, and literally was in the back room. He was in the back room at the back, all having a meal. And the promoter come up and said, like, you know, the guys are out there that, you know, they want to get these signed and that signed. And I've told them to, you know, don't worry about it. Just have your meal. Don't worry about them. He went, no, they've paid the good money. He said, bring the pictures here. I'll sign them. You know, his dinner went cold. He sat there signing all these pictures. They paid their own money. So both of them have showed me, you know, I like both of them. As people, as boxers, you know, I just think, like, you know, I'll be honest. I think Fury has got the answer, but we know what Fury can be like sometimes, and if he's not switched on, then you never bloody know.
Yeah, he's had a few demons in his past, hasn't he?
He has. He looks like a good question, which I'm glad of. But yeah, it's just to say stars make fights. We look at it; it looks so easy on paper. There's guys that I used to that I've boxed and I've knocked out, and I've watched them after, and I thought, bloody, how good is he?
Yeah.
You know, he wasn't that good against me, was he? It just depends. Yeah, it just depends on the night, really. To be fair, especially at heavyweight. You just seen it with White the other night and Povetkin. Yeah. You know, that was the thing. Like, everyone expected White just to blow him away, and here he was. He was on his backside being counted out. So it's heavyweight boxing, and that's why we all love it.
Yeah. Nick, you want to come in, Nick?
Yeah, some questions coming in. Jackie Blossom Barton says a charity fight with Greaseball and give him a real reason to go down. Brenda Brown says hello to all the Birmingham City fans. Jeremy says hello too. And Brenda wants you to show off your muscles, Wayne. Are you a Brum side? If not, throw bad eggs at you. Yeah, he's a Blues.
Definitely.
He's a Blues.
Definitely.
Show off your muscles.
Go on.
Just for
They're not as good as they used to be.
Hey.
10 years in retirement.
Oh, brilliant. Right, okay. How often do you get down the Blues then?
Not as often as I'd like now,
Right.
purely because I run a shop and I'm in the shop literally 7 days a week now. It's all about putting bread on the table. Unfortunately, I can't. I mean, I was going down a lot when I was literally, well, when I was boxing, I was down there regular because I had the time. And you'll have your fight, and then you'll have like 3 months off and stuff. So you've got a lot of time to go down and stuff. But now running a business, I'm in the shop literally every day other than a Friday, and then literally from there I go from there to the gym, which is where I've come from tonight. I've got a short tonight. We do boxing gear. It's called Mad Dogs Boxing. It's over in Sutton Coldfield, and we do all boxing gear. So we've had the boxing world supported it really well. We had Casemiro in the other week. He was a world champion, WBO world champion with Manny Pacquiao as manager. They landed in the store to buy some boots, and it's always nice to see. I get a buzz off them. I didn't think I'd go into retail, but I get a buzz out of seeing the fighters. I've had the British champion there, Jalson Wellborn, and we've had quite a few lads coming in, like literally the day before they're fighting and stuff, and I kind of get that buzz off them. Before they're about to fight. And I see all the young kids in there as well. We're doing a bit of coaching in store, helping the young kids. That's why I went into it, really. I got into it because I didn't feel there was a shop around that would give you the advice. I spoke to the suppliers and they were like, who's actually done something in the sport? Obviously I've done it as an amateur. I've done it as a pro. I've been an amateur trainer and a professional trainer now. I've done it all, every level. So, who the best? It'd be like if there was a football shop and you had someone like Devlin running it, it'd be that kind of thing, really, to get the right advice. So that's where I'm at. So I'm there every day, basically, pretty much, trying to earn a living now, the hard way.
But you don't have any people nicking anything out your shop, do you?
No, we don't, mate. Not yet. That's why I keep myself pretty fit, just in case I have to get on a run. But yeah, no, joking about. Like, I'm in the shop every day, and then I'm in the gym pretty much every night. Other than so it's difficult. So a lot of the time we'll try and get onto the Blues TV. I'll watch it. I'll try and watch it on Blues TV if we get a chance, or I'll just have to watch the highlights after, or listen to it on the radio. Every way I can listen to it on the day, really. To be fair, I've got one of the things from my coaches. Basically, you've got to follow the Blues to be one of my coaches at my gym. So thankfully we've got all the lads there at Blue Nosies. So it's good stuff, mate. We will have a good crack.
Lee wants to know. I'm sorry, you were going to do the same question. Go on.
No, you're right, Chris. You go.
Okay, Lee Fothergill was going to say, question for Wayne.
Yeah.
Who was the toughest opponent he ever faced?
I'm going to say, I've got to say Howard Eastman, who'd had 43 odd fights and never been beat by a British fighter before.
Was that
he'd only been beat by Lonsdale Belt, He'd only ever been beat by Bernard Hopkins, who you might have heard of.
Oh, yeah.
Bernard Hopkins, William Joppy, and Arthur Abrams, who actually I went to box myself. So he'd only even been beat by them guys. So to be the first British fighter to beat him, and I think Sky Sports pulled out of it before the fight. So Paddy Lynch actually fronted his own money to make that fight happen. Because Sky Sports pulled out, and their reason was Wayne will not last 4 rounds.
Oh.
So it was nice to get the win and the 12-round win. So definitely my hardest fight, yeah.
Are you one for looking at YouTube and all the rest of it, Wayne? When you get 5 minutes, do you look at your old fights or do you sort of let it go a bit?
Not really. I've kind of let it go, really. I used to really get upset. Not upset. That's the wrong word to use, really. When I do the amateur boxes now, obviously I run all over the country. And it used to knock me a little bit if you're at an amateur show. And then you'd say, in the corner, Wayne Elcock, former British champion, whatever. Yeah. I was like, it's not my night now. It's the kids. I've had my time. It's the kids in the ring. Like it's their time now. So, yeah, I don't really go over.
You don't reminisce and all the rest of it. Yeah.
No. Well, you got to move on, haven't you? As a boxer, I wanted to be number one. I achieved that. My job now is I want to be number one coach in the country. It's just different goals. I want to be the best coach in the country. I want, so that's my aim at the moment. Don't move forward. Yeah, it's horses for courses, and like I say, for me, I love the coaching side, and it's all about proving that. Now I've gone into I've been an amateur for 9 years. We've produced 8 national champions. So now as a professional, hopefully I can start producing champions as a professional and prove myself there as a coach as well. So different goals now, different goals. I think you've got you'd never let it go, would you? Never let it go. And this is the trouble, too. This is why when people talk about, I started training via lockdown because my shop was closed for 3 months and so forth. So I started getting myself fit, running every day and training like as if I was having going to come back. And the amount of people that contacted me were like, "You're making come on, Wayne, come out of retirement, you should make a comeback." But you've got to have that hunger for it, and it's not that. It's my buzz now is I get a buzz off the kids.
Off all the people.
The kids that are coming through and watching them, mate, succeed and being a part of their journey, really. And
would you ever step back in the ring?
I did for one night only. I did it at the Blues 2 years ago, and it was the first and only time I do it. There's nothing for me to prove because there's no. What can I do? I've won the titles that you can win. Mm-hmm. There's nothing there to prove. Just to say I've got in the ring, it doesn't do it for me. It would, would have to come back and it literally have to be on a title level sort of thing. So there wouldn't be anything really to lure me back in. I ain't gonna lie, it's a very, very tough sport, and at the end of it, I was literally riddled with injuries. I used to have cortisones in my elbow, cortisone in my hand, just a lot of injuries that we used to have to go through at the end of it. A little niggle. I think I was 35, 36 when I kind of retired. And even at that age, then it gets harder and harder. Yourself, you get a little knock, and it's not something that as a young kid you used to run off in a couple of weeks. Sometimes they last you for months, So it was just getting harder and harder for me to get through training. And the worst thing was, it was to get up for it. To really get up for the fight as well. It's the dieting you've got to do. I was 13 stone, really around 13 stone, walking around. I used to have to get down to 11.6. Now, if I tell you now, I'm like near enough, I'm about 12, 13 at the minute. So I'm not far off my walk around weight when I was boxing. You can imagine me. If you look at me now, you'll see that I'm not really carrying a lot of weight. No. So to get down to 11.6, I used to look like I was ill. But a lot of fighters did that. And you do that, and there's a sacrifice, the mood swings, the dieting, that you can't go out party. There's lots of stuff that you can't do. That I love a curry and I love a beer on the weekend now. Too much. Yeah. Too much. So
don't we all?
Brendan Brown's asking, Wayne, when we all come meet up again, can you come to one of our Accessory Blues coffee mornings? That's an invite. We'll make you tea or coffee and a sandwich.
Of course we will, yeah, I'd love to.
Lovely. And Steve Portman wants to know, what's your favourite piece of memorabilia?
Favourite piece of memorabilia that I own? That I own?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I would probably say, if I'm being honest, my favourite piece would probably be a Mike Tyson signed glove he personally signed for me, and a Roy Jones Jr. personally signed glove, because they were both of my two favourite fighters. So I would probably say that's my favourite piece. I actually had, originally, I remember when Forsell was with us.
Yes.
Yeah. I was in London at the time, training in London. I used to train at the old Emery Cooper gym. And I remember someone asked me to raise some money for someone down here as wanting to buy an electric chair and so forth. So I said, listen, I used to actually work with the Chelsea physios and stuff for injuries. And I used to go down to their training ground. And I remember at the time saying, let me get a shirt from you guys down here. And they said, oh, the only shirt we've got down here, Wayne's a Forsell one, because he's obviously with you. And I was like, that's even better. So I was buzzing at the time. Actually, no, I'm actually lying here. I actually said to him on the day, can I get a shirt signed by you guys? And it was a Forsell shirt, and I was like, brilliant. So Joe Cole, all the boys around that era, they all signed the shirt for me and stuff. And I was coming back to Brum, and literally someone rang me and said, we're trying to raise money for a young kid. Now, this kid, I don't know if you've ever seen the video I've done a video not long back. He's actually in a wheelchair, and he comes into my gym. And every year I get into a wheelchair with him, and we have a bit of a fight. And literally, he's winning me at the minute. He's 2-1 up on me at the minute. But yeah, so his mum said, like, literally, no one will have him in the gym. He can't go in. He's in a wheelchair, blah, blah, blah. And so I got him in the gym, and we learned him how to box, basically. And then every year he gets to fight me. And he's beat me so far. He's 2-1 up at the moment. But anyway, Sam was the person that I raised the money for. Now, I'm joking now. I says to the kid, so we raised this money. I said, I've got this shirt for sale. I can get another one anyway. I didn't manage to get another one in the end. But I ended up bringing it back and giving it down. Obviously raised a fair few quid, because at the time it was when Abramovich and whatever had just took over, and Chelsea were massive, weren't they? So they raised a lot of money for this shirt. But I remember saying to the kid, he was a Villa fan, and I said, look, I'll give you this shirt, but only if you have a blue. I don't want you to have a you've got to have a blue wheelchair, electric wheelchair. It has to be blue. And he actually did. I was only joking, obviously, but he actually did get a blue wheelchair in the end. But brilliant. I still see the kid to this day, But that would probably have been my favourite piece of memorabilia in some respects if I'd kept hold of it. But it's got to be the Tyson and the Roy Jones glove, I'd say.
A bit unique, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just about.
Oh yeah, massive. Yeah. Here's one from me, Wayne. What's your favourite ever boxing film?
Gotta be Raging Bull.
Really,
Gotta be Raging Bull.
Right, you know what? The mad thing is, right? I love Raging Bull. He was mad because I met Jake LaMotta. I met him when he was down here before he passed away. I met him, and it was crazy because he'd done a little talk and that, and it was like he went back to the film and he says a lot of the stuff word for word. You know, they're doing these after dinner speeches and that. They usually sort of program, but what a tough man he was. And obviously he fought Robinson, who in my eyes, and we trained. It was before my time really, but if you look back at the things, Robinson was probably the greatest fighter that ever lived. You know, and my trainer would always tell me that. You know, fantastic fighter. So probably Raging Bull. I did actually like the fighter as well, believe it or not, which is a more modern sort of thing. And obviously, how can you not like the Rocky films? But when you're actually a boxer yourself, you realise it's a little bit far away from where you want to be. I think Rocky was part of the reason why I used to go around to schools. Just to prove that all boxers wasn't that stupid. You weren't chasing any. You weren't chasing any chickens around the car park. I never chased any chickens, unfortunately. No. I've chased a few birds, but I've never chased a chicken. but yeah, it was part of the reason why I wanted to go into schools really and speak to kids in schools and stuff. I loved Rocky for what it did for the sport. Don't get me wrong, you know, it made boxing massive, but the way it was portrayed. It was kind of like all boxers. Most people, you know yourself, right? Yeah. A lot of people looked at a boxer and just thought he's thick. He's got his bound to be thick if he's a boxer, which was far from true. The best boxers out there, your Roy Jones, your Sugar Ray Leonard and stuff. Speaking to them guys, even Mike Tyson, you know, the brains them guys have got, it's unreal. Yeah. You know, the best fighters, I believe, you know, I've never met Mayweather, but I believe Mayweather's quite a smart guy as well. But most of the ones that are at the top of the game are smart because this game. Is all about how you use this. It's not brawn, and that's my business, my coaching business, Box Clever. That's what that's all about. It's called Box Clever. You know, literally, it's not all about the brawn. And when we try and show the kids, and I would have fights where literally Paddy would have something together for me, and it'd probably be one or two punches off a certain combination because he'd watch the opponent that I was fighting. But that, if he'd done his homework right, that would probably get me an early night in the ring, and end up finishing it early and But they don't realise it's not just about two blokes trying to knock 10 bells out of each other. There's a lot of thought. It's a chess match when you're in there. Yeah, there's a hell of a lot more to it.
More to it. Yeah.
Great questions coming in. Daniel Ricketts, you do know Roy Jones Jr. is fighting Mike Tyson. Who are you backing there, Wayne?
I'm on the fence, lads. I'm on the fence. I'm sorry, both two are my idols. But I believe it's going to be an exhibition. I don't believe it'll be a proper fight. I think it'll be an exhibition. To be honest, when I done that exhibition with Tony Oki, it was exhibition fight. Well, listen, if you watch the fight, you'd think that we literally hated each other. Yeah. But we said at the end of the fight, like, you know, call it a draw because we both done it for free. So why should anyone take a loss? So we just called it a draw and let the audience decide on who they thought won or lost the fight. I think what they're doing, they're trying to raise money for a charity.
Yeah, sure,
I really don't think there'll be probably a result of it at the end. I think it'll be probably both hands raised, to be fair, which is rightly so, because they're doing it for a great cause.
Yeah, grand. Craig Courtney says you're a true gent. And Auntie Linda, let me just scroll that one down. Oh, dear, excuse me.
There's loads of questions coming in thick and fast.
Yeah, Auntie Linda says, proper geezer, so humble with a big blue love heart. Lovely. Trevor Smith, what is Ricky Hatton like as a person?
Brilliant, lovely guy. Yeah. You know, let me tell you a quick one about Ricky. I'm boxing at the MEN Arena. It's my first fight for a world title. My first title fight, I should say. I was fighting a guy called Anthony Farnell over 12 rounds for the WBA world title. At the time, Ricky Hatton was on the same bill. He was topping the bill, and he was fighting against a guy called Vince Phillips, again for the WBA BU title, but at light welter. Now, before we boxed, Ricky come into the changing room. Now, he was in the same camp as Anthony Farnell and wished me all the best. He said, "You seem a nice guy." I didn't really. I'd met him. We'd come on the same sort of shows. We boxed on the same sort of shows, but I didn't really know him that great. And when he come in and sort of says to me, you know, you're a nice guy. I just wish you all the best, may the best man win, kind of thing. He kind of won me over, and I speak to Ricky a lot now. We go up to his gym quite a bit, and honestly, he's so down to earth. Yeah, it's unreal. Like most boxers are, I'll be honest, and a lot of sportsmen in general. As I say, we've not come from rich pickings a lot of the time, so we appreciate the people around us and the supporters and the fans and so forth. So, you know, he's a lovely guy, a great guy. Good fighter as well.
I'll tell you something. Been doing this for 10 long years. We've been doing this for, and we've never had anybody who's so far up their own backside come and talk with us. Not ever. Not one guest ever.
No, I've found that.
just to find out that these, stars, and they're stars in the world, are just normal people who,
Yeah.
I tell you what,
I used to actually. Sorry, mate,
how to interrupt you.
I used to get kind of like, I used to feel, I mean, obviously it's very humbling when you get someone coming. I've been in, like, literally, you've been out and about and someone will come up to you and sort of say, I used to love watching all your fights, Wayne, massive fan, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, where's all your, what did he say to me? It was kind of like, he thought it'd be a big entourage and I'd have loads of people around and all that sort of stuff. Like, I was the sort of guy like say, keep my feet to the ground. I'm saying, what do you do, mate? And he's like, well, I'm a painter and decorator. Well, I can't paint and decorate to save my life, mate. So I respect people for that. And I think if sportsmen look at it that way, there's lots of things that I can't do, physically can't do. And I used to look at it like that, really. So what you do, mate? You're a mechanic. I ain't got a clue about cars. Do you know what I mean? So everyone's got something they're good at. I was just looking at, for me, it was boxing. And you're going to have guys there that were good at football and whatever everyone's got something they were good at. You guys are already good at this bloody show. Obviously, that's why you've been doing it so long. But whatever. I think if you just keep yourself, just keep your feet on. All I'm going to my message really is to the young kids coming through and that, just keep your feet on the ground. Yeah. Keep your feet on the ground. Stay humble.
With the education system now as it is, it's a national curriculum, and I get it, right? But once somebody has developed something that they're good at, they are absolutely poor at developing and pushing that person in the right direction.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Do what you're good at. That's what I was saying last week. Let the manager manage. Yeah, I couldn't manage a football team.
Yeah.
I couldn't get in a boxing ring. I'd fall over the rope.
Yeah.
I want to see that.
Oh, cheers, Chris. I've got to say a massive debt of gratitude for you not being killed this week, Chris Brown.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah.
That was a close one, wasn't it?
Yeah, nearly died. Yep. Nearly died.
Yeah, no, mate. Glad to see you're all right, mate. I promise you.
On your birthday as well, wasn't it?
It was on my birthday. Yeah. Just let people know. A runaway articulated lorry driven by one of our foreign friends decided to plough into the side of me and not stop on the stop lines, and they went straight into the side of me and pushed my car over to the other side of the road. But I got out of it, so it's only metal in the end, isn't it?
Very lucky, mate. Very lucky. Yeah,
it's only metal. So there you go. I'm still there.
Steve Portman says that you're a top bloke. Giving back is always the greatest gift, and that memory, says Linda, will stay with that lad forever. Well done, nice one.
Just going back to that the memorabilia thing. This is not a question or an answer really. Just Steve Portman says that was a great thing to do, Wayne. The greatest memorabilia then is the lad you saved. Helped.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Great
comment.
Wait, if you see a lad in the gym, he's you look at him and you think, you know what, I think you're off the rails a little bit. Do you take him aside personally and have a little word?
You know what? It's really strange because, like I say, I was as a kid. When I left school with a certificate. That it was called the Survival Award. When I was about 14/15, I took boxing up. Before that, I was an absolute nightmare for the teachers. Wagging it, God knows what. I was a nightmare for all them years. And then, so when I left, obviously boxing changed my mind completely, or changed the way I thought and channeled me. That's why I created the business, because I thought if it could save me, it will save a lot of kids. So I started boxing and it changed me, and I stopped fighting. And literally, you'd literally have to throw a punch at me to get me to do anything. But anyway, when I left school, I got something called the Survival Award. And the Survival Award, it was for the person that was most likely to be excluded, but survived and improved beyond recognition. Now, that was all down to the boxing. They give me a little certificate and a little award with it and stuff. Imagine them doing something like that today. It'd be absolutely mental. But so I'll be honest, I connect with these kids. The ones that are off the rails. The two that I've got there, the first kid I ever trained, I'll be honest, this is the first kid I ever trained. He's just about to turn pro. His name's Elliot Hurley. Look out for him because he will be a star. He's unreal fighter. And the other one's Brandon Jones. He's won like 3 national titles already. And again, massive hopes for both of them. But anyway, Elliot comes to me as an 11-year-old kid. The counsellor had sent him to me and said, this kid is a nightmare. He don't stay on sessions. He don't do this. If you can work with him, then you can work with anyone. Because basically, I've been asked to come and help out because I said, you're a local guy. Can you help out with the local kids and inspire them and stuff? So I decided to do it. But then before it all come about, the woman that was bringing me in got took away from the situation, lost the job. And so someone else came in and said, well, hang on. we was going to pay you X, Y, and Z. And so if we're going to pay that sort of money, we could have 3 coaches for that. I said, yeah, but them 3 coaches haven't have done what I've done. They're not going to inspire the kids the way I do. I said, well, just give me an opportunity. Don't give me a contract. Just give me an opportunity. Actually, Box Clever, it was their main provider, was Solihull Council. We was with them for like 11 years. But they went, all right, then we're going to take a chance on you, but we're going to send you the worst kid we've got. So they sent me this kid, honest. They sent me this kid, and it was Elliot, and he's still with me now, as I say. He turns up in his school uniform with his mum. He's 11. He turns round to me. He says, I don't care who you are. I'm only here because she's dragged me here, and that's his mum. And I'm thinking, oh, my God, all right, fair enough. I'm going to have my work cut out here. He said, I don't really want to do this. I went, look, let me show you what you could be doing. I'm going to fail here. It's my first coaching job. And I'm going to fail here if I don't get involved. So I get the skipping rope and started showing him a few of the tricks with the skipping rope. How do you like that? Yeah, it's really good. Do you want to have a go? He said, not really, no. Fair enough. Got the gloves on, started hitting the bag, showing him a few combinations on the bag. Would you want to learn that? He said, not really, no. I thought, this is going to go down, like a lead balloon, this one. So anyway, I got the guy who brought me in to stand up with him. I said, stand up with him, please. And we just take him through a few, basic steps and stuff, so which is what we did. And anyway, I could see he was getting into it a little bit more. As I said, like, stand up, what are you? I'm left-handed. All right, you're a safe ball. All right, get your right leg forward and start getting him in all the stance and what have you. Yeah. Anyway, I got the pads on and I started doing a little bit of pad work with him slowly. Yeah, throw that onto there and getting him on the pads. And I could see he was getting in. So I said, you know what, son? There's a little bit, you've got potential there. I think you could do quite well. He went, really? I'm boosting him up, obviously. And he starts getting into it a little bit more. But we're only about 5 minutes before the end of the lesson. So I said, you know what, we're out of time now. Hopefully I'll see you next week. And off he goes. He was still in his school uniform. Anyway, he says, have you actually boxed before yourself? I went, yeah, I've done a little bit. Put my name into YouTube. Anyway, so he goes away. The next week he turns up. He's in a tracksuit. Can I help you, Mr. Elcock? And he's helped me get all the stuff out of the container out the back. And as I say, the kid's still with me today. That's from the age of 11. I've gone through all
this sounds like a film in the making, mate. That does.
Yeah. I've had a crazy life, mate. I've only briefly touched it, but we'll be here all night, mate. We haven't got enough time.
Go on, Nick.
So we asked you to do. Should we get on to Wayne's 1 to 11?
Oh yeah, go on then. Yeah.
We asked you to do a 1 to 11, didn't we, Wayne? Of the players.
You did, yeah.
From obviously your favourite Blues players from all your time following the club, and obviously a bit of what you played with as well. Some of them, wasn't it? So
I mean, I think a lot of it did come from that. To be fair, because obviously it's different. I mean, imagine like me being on a part with these guys. I looked up to these guys. It was crazy because when I was in London, and obviously Joe Cole, and that was a massive boxing fan, and it's like you're watching him playing, and you're like, wow, this is mad that they're coming up to me. Like, Wayne, I watch all your fights, and it was weird. There's just mutual respect, I think, between sportsmen. Achieve at a decent level. To be fair, so being on the part with these guys, to say that I've put some of them in my all-time favourites. And to be honest, before I started playing for the All Stars, some of them might not have been in that at the start, but been playing alongside them and seeing that they. Remember, we all go around the country playing and raising money with the Blues badge on. These guys are Blues through and through, even in retirement now. To turn up and play the games that we play and that. So. Yeah, for me to not add them in there, I think that they've turned into my favourite players. They're also my pals as well, which is even better. But yeah,
far away we
went to 11. Then. Should we start with the goalkeeper?
Go on, start with the goalkeeper. Come on, Wayne.
Taylor.
Okay.
Mike Taylor. Yeah.
Mike Taylor.
Yeah. Love him, mate. Love him.
I was trying to think of his name last night. Thanks for that.
different level, mate. Different level.
Right, goalie winner, brilliant.
Well, that's where we were struggling for the Blues, to be fair, at one stage. We didn't really have Paulie plays for us as well sometimes, you know what I mean? But, yeah, just unbelievable, mate. Unbelievable to watch when he played. But even now, in retirement now, I mean, he comes out and plays up front every now and again. Did you realise he was a striker before?
No.
Yeah, he told us.
He played in the army, didn't he?
Yeah. He was in the army, yeah.
I didn't like that side to it because it means I don't get a game when he wants to go out. Go on, then moving on. Then, so I've gone for Kenner.
Yeah,
Jeff.
Yeah, good old Jeff.
Quality, weren't we? We had him towards the end of his career for a few years, but he was quality. Absolutely brilliant.
No, you can just tell the level he played at. The way he reads the game. Yeah. I mean, he plays more in midfield for us guys and stuff. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, just he's all round games unreal. You know, fantastic player. Obviously, them two there I play with at the Blues. So yeah, I've had the opportunity to do that with them. The other one I haven't yet, to be fair, which is at number 3, which is Granger. But I used to love watching Granger. You know,
Great player.
Fantastic. A lot of them, really, to be fair, it was what made the Blues before we went down the David Dunn route and some of the other lads there, if I'm being honest, was that heart and that fire and that soul. I thought we lost that later down the line, especially when we got relegated from the Prem. I thought it was the best team I'd ever seen, by the way, in terms of on paper, in terms of the money we spent and all the rest of it. But I think we lost a lot of the heart and that people like Granger that used to show us. I don't know how you felt about it, but I felt
a little bit.
I think that the Blues was made on that, like that heart and soul and that determination. So I'm moving goats. So I'll get down and say Scott Dan thought was fantastic.
Very good.
Fantastic player for us.
Great shout,
next one for me. Obviously, I know he didn't do much. That was a lot of time in terms. It was like coming to the end as well. Was Robbo, and obviously, I just love Robbo's commitment to the club. Fantastic servant to the club, and fantastic.
Sad to see him leave altogether as well recently.
Oh, gutty, mate, gutty. Yeah. But it is what it is, and you know what happens in football. It happens quite frequent, doesn't it?
Yep.
Next one, Brian Hughes. I used to love Hughes.
Yeah.
What a talent!
What a player! Going down again, O'Connor, Martin, Skip.
Yeah.
Oh, mate, I was talking about obviously Martin. He'd be my club. He'd be the captain for me. You should see the way he pulls us all together still now. Just his leadership and that. He's fantastic.
We've never had anybody on here, Wayne. We've never had anybody on here that's played with him that hasn't put him in the team.
Yeah, he's unreal, mate. Unreal. Again, Carsley's another one. Fantastic. Local lad as well. He's from Sheldon Way. Get on well with Lee as well. Brilliant. Fantastic to watch when he's out there. One of the ones who, for me, I know obviously people might dispute it in some respect, but in my time, I'd say more so, because obviously being much younger, was probably Dugarry, and I think that for me, Dugarry was the best player I've ever seen in a Blues shirt for me. I know a lot of people go with the Francis and that, but what I used to see him do, I've never seen. I know, but some of the things he used to do were unreal. I remember getting to watch him and just thinking, wow, this is in the Premiership, the way he mugged off players, just unreal. Unreal player. So for me, the best player I've ever seen in a Blues shirt would be Dugarry. Moving down, Devlin, workhorse, obviously, he's always good for a goal. He's still got the same fire now, when we're playing. And the next one is my old pal Hoppy. Usually after about 15 minutes when the bar's open, when we're playing the charity games, he'll say, "Stop, Wayne, get yourself warmed up, son. Come on, the bar open." And he's away. So Hoppy usually gets me. Hoppy's the reason why I usually get the games with the Blues, to be fair, because after about 15 minutes when the bar's open, you'll say, "Come on, Tom, get warmed up, son." But no, seriously, I mean, Rob, what a servant for the club. These Blues these guys are, as I say, we all go around the country representing the club. We don't there's no money being paid to us. We do it all free. These guys, for me, that's why I thought they need to be they need to be in my favourite 11, because at the end of the day, they're Blues through and through, and they're still
some team though. Today. It's a good team though. Really good team.
That's a team half in it. That one.
Have you had that team before?
It was a shame,
Paul. Have you had a team like that before, have you?
No, I don't think so.
That's good. That's the first thing. That's nice.
Tom, we've had Tom on saying he's the best manager in the world because he's unbeaten in 28 years.
Who have you got down as captain, Wayne?
Who Tom got down as captain?
Who have you got down in that team? Who would you have as captain?
Skip, Martin O'Connor.
Skip, of course.
Mine.
Yeah.
Honestly, mate, I mean, look, when we're in there, obviously, I get on great with Martin anyway. Do you know what I mean? He's a top bloke all round, but you can tell why people would put him in that position, because he's just got something about him. He's quite infectious, to be fair. Yeah. He does get the changing room going. Our warm-ups these days, though, are usually just standing by the radiator for 10 minutes before kick-off. but apart from that, just you need someone to keep the team going. And Martin's definitely that one. He's the life and soul of the party when we're in that changing room. He gets us going, and he's brilliant. He always takes the mick with Tom, because literally I'm there at every game, obviously. And I think what it was, we played over at Kidderminster, and before the game, no, that was it. He come over at Kidderminster, and I was saying, obviously, Dev had missed a few, and I can't remember who else we got up front on the day, but anyway, so I would have got that, Tom, would have got that. He goes, "Shut up, Elcock." And he went, "Right then, go on, then get on there. 15 minutes left. 15 minutes left. Go on, and Elcock, jump on there. Show us what you got. I scored 4 goals, right, in that 15 minutes.
Wow.
Anyway, the next game we came, we were in the changing room, and then Tom's picking the team, and Martin said straight away, he went, and I bet Wayne's on the bench. He went, Tom said, yeah, you're right. He said, he's bang out of order. He's here every week. He scored. I don't know what else he has to do, Wayne. He scored 4 goals in the last game and all the rest of it. Anyway, cut a long story short, I was on the bench, obviously. I've come off the bench. Carsy's put one into me, and I've hit it on my left peg. I don't usually use my left peg much, but straight into the top corner on my left peg. And his skips turned around to me straight away. He goes, Wayne, just walk, son. You don't need to say anymore. You've proved your point. Yeah, but him and Tom, like the banter between them, I don't care. Listen, the guys are there to watch ex-Blues players. I'm a Blues fan. I'm honoured to be on the park with these guys. Honoured, so I don't mind it. Having a little cameo role at the end and stuff, and just being there, just support the club and just raise a few quid. I'll sign the ball and the shirts and whatever. Obviously, I'm a boxer. I think we had one person there who was doing stuff for, and I went and got a glove off Ricky Hatton for them. I said, look, obviously, boxing's my thing, but when I see Ricky next, I'll get you a glove. And actually, I delivered on that promise and got him a Ricky Hatton signed glove, and that could raise for the charity as well. So
that's fantastic.
Just for me, it's surreal just being able to be part of the.
You're an inspiration. You're an inspiration, mate.
I was going to say,
Brownie, I tell you what, we've not had a show like this, have we?
No. I'm just fascinated listening to this.
There's that much coming at me. Like, wow, what a bloke, what an absolute top bloke. Brenda, Brown, Wayne, do you ever go into schools and give talks? Because so many bullies today in schools, maybe your talk would be a great idea.
Oh, I think
all the time. Good. I work with the police. Excellent. Actually, about what was it? A few years ago, I got made an ambassador for the WBC, which is a massive honour for me. Probably we talk about the hardest fight, but my proudest achievement would probably be getting the award from the WBC, and they made me an ambassador for services to the sport.
That's fantastic.
Now, basically, what it was, we went into an area in Chelmsley Wood where a kid had been stabbed and murdered. And we went in there with my business, Box Clever, and literally set up a mobile boxing ring, which is what we do. We set it up in areas where there's not much activity going on, and we try and get the kids off the streets and learning a bit of boxing. And so I remember going in there the first week, and it was supposed to be a trial run, about 3 weeks. The police were helping to fund it. And they were like, Wayne, you could hit a bit of compensation. I always went on the sessions. People used to make me laugh because they'd say it was called Wayne Elcock's Box Clever. And they go, oh, you're actually here? Yeah. Well, it's not like Gary Lineker's football school where he's never there. I'm here. Oh, it's Wayne Elcock's Box Clever. I'm here. No, but you know what I mean, don't you? There's a lot of them that'll put their name to something, but they actually won't be there. So I'm always there. So anyway, the coach has come back to me and said, look, we're having a bit of compensation. Somebody's saying this is out of order. Someone's been stabbed and murdered, and you're doing boxing violence. So I actually went out and spoke to him and said, look, it's not about that. And I've never felt the need, and I still don't today, felt the need to carry a weapon of any sorts. These are my weapons because I've learned how to box. And maybe if these guys knew how to box, then the guy'd still be alive and he wouldn't have been stabbed and murdered. So it was, for me, it was kind of like, teaching them the discipline. And boxing's the other way around. For me, it doesn't turn you into someone that just wants to fight everyone out there. If anything, like I say, for me as a kid, I was the cock in my school. I was always fighting. And when I started boxing, as I say, I stopped fighting. I wasn't interested in fighting. I was interested in boxing in the boxing ring and winning trophies and medals and whatever. I wasn't interested in fighting Joe Bloggs down the road where I couldn't get anything out of that. I wouldn't be a buzz out of knocking someone who couldn't box out. And it gives you that. But it also gives you that confidence where they know that literally if they've overstepped the mark, you could just with a look or the right words, you're not trying to, you don't even raise your voice. Just let's hold it there, mate, and it will kind of stop at that. So it gives them that self-assert. People will get that vibe off you, that aura off you.
Great. Lots and lots of comments coming in. Craig Courtney says, I feel the Tilton Talk Show charity game against Wayne and the old boys who would be up for it.
Look at us. Look at us.
What side I'll be on, lads.
What's that on, Nick? FIFA? Is that on FIFA?
It would be for weekend, yeah.
We'd still lose.
Oh, dear me.
Brenda says, what a fantastic guy Wayne is.
Thank you, Brenda.
There's just loads and loads of comments there. You've got goosebumps listening to your stories. So hooked on all your memories. Absolutely loving this show. Well done. Thank you. It is from Brenda Brown. Massive difference between a street fight and boxing. Boxing's controlled aggression. Street fights are just idiots thinking they're clever. Well, we've seen that up and down the country, don't we? To be honest with you.
Absolutely. So,
yeah.
Wayne, did you watch the game on Saturday just gone? And what do you make of the current? Obviously, Karanka's recently come in, and
you know
what do you make of the future now?
Really impressed, and I think defensively we've really tidied it up. And I think that's where we was lacking beforehand. We was leaking goals. A lot of the time, a lot of stupid goals. Which is what I used to like when Rout was there, to be fair, in some respects. He did get it quite strong and secure. But we seem to be getting that back now. Yeah, gutted that it wasn't the result. But listen, I'm really impressed with where we are at the moment. And we're moving in the right direction. Because I don't think most people would give us a chance. So to be sitting, I think, with about eighth in the table, respectable. Yeah, we should have won the Rotherham game, to be honest with you. But I'm just pleased that we're not leaking goals left, right and centre. It's looking better. We still need a bloody striker, though, which is what we've always seemed to struggle with.
Definitely.
Don't get me wrong. Hogan was a decent acquisition, but we just need someone an out-and-out striker. I think we're lacking an out-and-out striker, and it's something that we've been lacking down for a long time.
I don't know what the budget's like, but it'd be nice to have a marquee signing, wouldn't it, before the window shuts?
Yeah,
but,
it'd
be nice. $6 million on a centre forward.
Yeah. If the funds are there, it's just that's what I think we've. Well, ever since I followed them, to be honest, you struggled to get that. Really, should I have? It was a toss-up. Obviously, I love Debs, and that was obviously you think about Forsell, but he was hardly down with us. But he's then one of our most prolific strikers. He's one of our most prolific scorers in terms over the last few years. And he was arguing with us really. So that doesn't really say a lot about what we're like in terms of strikers and stuff. We've always struggled in that area, I think. It's also keeping older players, isn't it? Let's be honest, definitely. We struggle to keep hold of them when they start going to another level, if you like. We need the money, so to speak. It's a shame we can't get, someone's coming, which I thought we'd got a few years ago, where there'd be pots of money, look at the likes of the Man Cities of this world and Chelsea that were really doing nothing really before the owners come in and pumped all that money in. I'd love for something like, Birmingham's just, for me, I love it to bits, and for something like that to happen, who knows? Hopefully in my time that may happen. But at the moment we've just got used to it, haven't we? We've just got used to having to do it the hard way. Yeah. It's a really tough end to the season. I thought it was a wrong to really say that you were going before as the manager did back then. I think that just took the edge off. It killed us really, to be fair, because I thought we could have done better the last run in the season. In the end, we was nearly fighting relegation, weren't we? Again, it was like you wouldn't have seen that as we come ahead of it. You wouldn't have seen that, and it was a real tough bloody end to the season, to be fair. And then I think, like most Blues fans at the time, we was called like, who's this guy that bought in now? Would he do anything? I was a bit worried, to be fair. I was a bit worried. But the way he started, you've got to judge people on the results and how they're doing. And so far, for me, so good. I'm really happy. I think
don't forget as well, we've still got Lecco to come in, who we've had off Aggies as well. Hopefully he can do something good for us as well. And I like the fact that we went a goal down with a couple of minutes to go and we fought back. We didn't give up. Our heads didn't drop. I'm only going back 3 months and our heads would have dropped.
I know.
It's a completely different. It's a different team, different psych.
Different mentality, isn't it?
Definitely.
And a lot of it is that, the mentality's there now, to be fair. It's the right mentality, and that they don't believe they can get beaten. To score that late on proves that, really. To 9 times out of 10, that was last year. We might have conceded a bloody second, never mind, got an equaliser.
Nice comments keep coming in. Paul McCarthy, one word, class. Graham Brown, such a humble top guy. So great listening to him talk. Keep right on. Liam Carroll, boxing is the most disciplined sport in the world. Controlled environment. Many of the kids who run riot today would have a lot more respect for others in society. It's a very poignant comment, that one.
Wayne, you were so well loved, Wayne.
Craig Courtney, what a show. Craig also wants me and you to do an arm wrestle, I think.
I better get back in the gym then.
You won't need to, mate. It's little pinky.
59 on Christmas Day. I've never told anybody.
No, not really. Christmas Day.
Joking.
I
just get involved in crashes on my birthday.
It's a little bit of a different show, I suppose, obviously, because it's a boxing spin to it, and obviously we football. But again, it's the same for me. Like it was. Thanks for having me on, firstly, guys. Massively appreciate it. Having me on with you guys.
Loving it.
Blues through and through. It's the same as doing the charity games. I know it's a different spin with the boxing and stuff, but obviously, in terms of boxers and football teams, we've got the best record in terms of the boxers that have come from here. With Rob McCracken, with Cal Yaffo, with myself, with Frankie Gavin, with Matt Macklin. You know, when you look at the blue half of the city, mate, we've turned out all the best fighters.
Absolutely, yeah.
Definitely.
Hey, Mark,
Right, next big question then, Wayne.
Yeah.
Right. All this year, we've been doing a lot of charity work for PTSD.
Yeah.
So soldiers that have returned from war zones. And our family here is very closely connected. I won't go into all the details right now, but we're very connected with it for specific reasons. Is there anything you could offer us for that we could auction up on our charity night?
Oh, put him on the spot.
Yeah. Well, listen, what about this then? What about me doing a one-to-one session with anyone? One-to-one boxing session with someone.
Oh, if I didn't have this back finger.
Teach them the basics. If they haven't boxed before, they might have boxed before. If they haven't boxed before, then I'll learn them how to box. We'll have a little bit of fun. Showing them a bit about the noble art, maybe. How's that for you? So a one-to-one session, a boxing session, and I'll introduce them to the noble art of boxing. And,
that's a great idea.
Gentlemen.
Great prize, that.
So yeah, put me down for that. I'll do that. It's very close to me, all that, to be fair. My mum's remarried to a guy who's in the Royal Engineers for 25 years. He'd done his full service there. And my dad was in the Signals. So, yeah, it was mad.
I'm just going to turn your phone around, Wayne.
When my dad actually passed away, believe it or not, I went to sign up and I wanted to be a soldier. So I said, sign me up. And the guy looked at me and he said, look where you are in the amateur ratings. You're way up there, mate. If you join the army, you'll be in the army boxing team. I said, no, I need to be a squadder. He went, no, you'll be in the army boxing team. I won't lie to you. If you sign up, that's where you're going to be. You'll be in a tracksuit for the rest of your life, basically, and just boxing for the army. But I didn't want to be a boxer for the army. I wanted to be a soldier. In memory of my dad, to be fair. I'm glad I never joined up because I wouldn't have done what I'd done in the end. But yeah, that's one of the reasons why I didn't join, purely because they told me I would have had to box when I just wanted to learn how to be a soldier, so to speak, or be a soldier.
Auntie Linda says, I'll get in the ring with you, Wayne. Ooh.
Nick, maybe our...
We are talking about the boxing ring,
yeah.
Is he older than me?
Nick, maybe our Excessi Blues people might be able to set something up regarding that. Nick, do you think?
Sorry?
Yeah.
Maybe our Excessi Blues friends might be able to get something sorted regarding that.
I tell you what, Linda is just amazing. She's a wonderful, wonderful woman. She does so much for everybody else in the community. And,
filmed as well, yeah.
We just pay you, Linda, so much respect off the show. I promise you. We just love you to bits, Bab. Honestly, you're brilliant.
I thought you was going to say we paid her then.
Mark, are we going to have anything to do with boxing and football for the last 15?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm going to do. Last 15 minutes is in 3 minutes' time. But start thinking it will be anything to do with the gym or the boxing ring or boxing. Yeah. And football in general, football, anything, right? Okay. So get your thinking heads on anything to do with boxing and football. Now, Wayne, I don't know whether you can see the comments that are coming through on the show, but what I'll start doing in a minute is reading some out, and I crack every week, mate. So just you keep talking, and I'll keep laughing for the next 15 minutes.
Some of them are hilarious, Wayne. Honestly, we have all different subjects every week. And last week was TV programs, and I was howling, man. Some of them was hilarious.
Yeah, some are brilliant. We carried on, didn't we, in the week? Carries on all during the week on Facebook.
Yeah.
Brenda,
thank you for sharing us with your compassion and love in everything you have done and doing. Well done, Brenda. Bleeps thinks that I can box. I don't think so, Bleeps.
No.
I'll give you something different to that. We'll do it next week, mate.
Oh, dear. Wayne, do you get interest from young girls to take up boxing? A keen interest from girls in South Africa to take up the sport? That's from Mike Hill.
Well, the first female boxer, she boxes for England, Stevie Pitts, another one to look out for. That's my other professional. I've got 3 pros. The last one I've just signed her now. Stevie Pitts boxes for England. She's the current England champion, female. That's the first girl that I've actually trained. And she's just turned professional now. As I say, she's done it all as an amateur. A lot of young girls got into it when Nicola Adams won the gold medal. A lot of interest from there. It's continued through because now, obviously, Katie Taylor's turn.
Peter Unglove.
Yeah.
Unglove.
So, Katie Taylor obviously showed girls that they can take it from the amateurs into the professionals. Katie Taylor's a breath of fresh air for women's boxing. and a massive, torch really. And there's a lot more I'm finding now. A lot more girls are coming into the gym and learning how to box. So yeah, it's the sport's thriving. I think they'll get to the stage soon where, just like they have in the football, where I believe eventually you'll have women's boxing and men's boxing. I think that the two won't be able to mix eventually because there'll be too much.
Here's a good one. Here's a good one.
Frank got Lampard. Paul, we've got Frank got Lampard.
Frank got Lampard.
Nico Vaseline come in.
So what was your favourite venue you fought at, Wayne? What was your favourite venue you fought at, and what's the most you fought in front of?
Oh God, well, it would have been obviously. Well, you got the MEN, obviously the MEN Arena in Manchester. That was a fair few in there. I boxed in Switzerland at the FC Basel Stadium, which was again massive against Arthur Abrams. That was crazy there. They're big venues. I boxed when was the next one, Cardiff. At the Cardiff Castle, that was an outdoor one. And Joe Calzaghe boxed the box there, and that was weird. Being outside as well at Cardiff Castle. My favourite one would probably be, I boxed at the NIA in Birmingham. Obviously, my favourite venue was always boxing in front of my own crowd, in front of Brummies. And so at the end of my career, most of my fights were at Birmingham. So I fought at the Aston Events Centre a few times. I love the atmosphere in there. I remember quickly, I'll just go on there, the first fights I had in Birmingham after I left Frank Warren and I came and relaunched again in Birmingham. And literally, I remember we was just about to go out to the crowd. There was no TV. It wasn't a TV show. It was a smaller show. I'd gone with a smaller promoter and I was just about to go out into the crowd. And, it was all like the wooden seating around the venue and so forth. And before I went into the arena, I was just about to go out and the guy said, the ring whip said, look, Wayne, you can walk when you want. It's not on TV. It's fine. And I remember just about to go out into the arena and all of a sudden, all you could hear around the arena was Elcock, like really loud, and the back of my neck, the hairs on my back of my neck. It was the first fight ever in Birmingham. And I just remember thinking, I remember saying to Paddy, I can't go out yet. I'll be going out and waving at everyone and all sorts of here people, you know what I mean? It was a bit of a strange one. So I kept my head together. I got my head down, put my hood up, put my hands on the top of my shoulders of my coach, walked to the ring, and I thought, just ignore everyone's there, Wayne. Come on, you're here to do a job. You don't want to lose your first ever fight in Birmingham. And that was the fight where, as I say, I knocked him out in 56 seconds. So it didn't last long. Yeah. But that was for me, the atmosphere and the other good venue I used to look at. The smaller venues are the ones I enjoyed. The other venue I used to like, and I never lost there either. And I knocked out a kid in. It was my quickest knockout. I think it was in the York Hall, Bethnal Green. Absolutely loved boxing there. Very small, but it actually felt like the crowd were in the ring with you. The way the balconies used to come around the top of it. So I used to love the York Hall as well. It's a fantastic venue to box at as well.
Yeah.
Was there Bob Hackman, Dave Spitwater, John Scales?
John Scales. Sorry, go on, Mark. What was that?
I was gonna say, Wayne, was there any genuine dislikes of anyone when you were in the ring, or was it all,
Yeah, there was. Yeah, there was.
It wasn't all show. You did have some genuine dislikes for people.
Yeah, sometimes you do. Yeah, don't get me wrong. though. I think it's one of them sports, and I think a lot of people can learn a lot from it. Obviously, leading up to the fight, you hate each other's guts, and they're making me train harder. You're the one who's making me, who's stopping me seeing my children, who's making me diet. All these things. Stay away from home. I actually do training camps in America and Portugal and all the rest of it, and you're away from your family, and it kills you. And you think you're the reason, so this is why I've got to make you pay. But it's crazy because you hate each other massively all up to the fight. You have the fight, and then he's your best friend. It's like long lost. Come on, we'll have a pint. It's crazy a lot of the time. So 9 times out of 10, the dislike is real. The hatred, if you want to call it that, is real. But then after the fight, when you've swapped level with someone and tried to take each other's head off for 12 rounds, at the end of it, the respect is unreal. And 9 times out of 10, you'll end up being friends forever and a day, for sharing the ring for that time. So it's but there is genuine dislike. Yeah, of course there is.
Are you still in touch? You still in touch with some? Are you still in touch with some of your opponents from back in the day? You still in touch now?
Yeah, on Facebook probably. Yeah, I've got opponents there. Fighters I've got guys I've boxed against. If you like, we like each other posts and whatever and speak and that. We're still in touch. I wouldn't say we go out drinking and that, but we're on about obviously doing a little reunion and getting a few of the old fighters back in there and stuff. And so some of my ex-opponents will be there. I'm part of the Ex-Boxers Association and stuff as well down here. So a lot of the time you'll see some of these guys coming through. The reason I started Box Clever, to be fair, was literally because it was to try and give fighters an opportunity to do something after the sport. So I created it, and I've got all the stuff there, and I've actually set a couple of boxes up in it where literally I go, look, I've done all the paperwork, this is the program, and it just takes all that hard work away from them. This is what we're doing. We're going to deliver in schools. I mean, if you said to a kid, go into this hall, how many chairs can you fit in this hall, for instance? And they'll say, I don't know, I don't care. But if you get them into something they enjoy, and you say, how many boxing rings can fit in there? And they go, oh, 1, 2. It's just a totally different thing. Score this 12-round fight for me between Manny Pacquiao and Vic. Score this 12-round fight. Now they're doing maths without even realising they're doing maths. So again, you're getting on that education element. They'll add them scores up. But if you just ask them to add up 10-9, 10-8, whatever, they'll just tell you where to go. But you do it as a boxing match and tell me who the winner was. Now all of a sudden you're getting you're combating, you're getting a little bit of education in there as well. And that's what the programme was run on. But it was made by a champion to create champions, but I wanted other champions to do it. So ex-fighters, I wanted to come and give back to the sport. Don't leave. You've been in the sport for a long time. Stay in the sport and give back. Unfortunately, in boxing, a lot of fighters have come out of there, and I suppose that might be in a lot of sports as well, where they've come out of it and they're a little bit, I'd say, bitter towards the sport, and that probably haven't done as well, probably didn't go as well as they wanted, probably did earn stack loads of money, but now they're skint, and they don't want to do nothing with the sport. I'm there to prove that even with me not earning the same sort of money of your Carl Frotches and your Ricky Hattons, with the money I earned, I still managed to invest it correctly. And obviously I had a proper, Paddy Lynch was a good mentor, but I managed to invest that money. And I don't think I've worked a day in my life since I've retired, because everything I do is boxing related. I'm working with the kids. I've got the pro boxers, I've got the Box Clever, I've got the shop. It's all boxing. So I'm able to stay in the sport and give back. And not be bitter towards the sport. I love the sport, and hopefully that will inspire and encourage other kids. So it was kind of created to help them boxers that have probably gone away from the sport. I would love them to stay involved in the sport, so that's why I created Box Clever, so they could kind of run that program.
Right, we've got Jude Bellingham. We've got Peppery Benitez, brilliant one. That is absolutely superb. Kidney Puncheon, Lionel Messi. Gary Mouthguard, no? Kenny Rope Burns.
What about Muhammad Ali McCoist?
Oh, Neil War knock him out.
Neil War knock him out. I like
that. Harry Ferguson.
Yeah.
That's some goodness.
What about spa screaming?
Oh yeah. Oh man, you lot have me absolute cracked up, I promise you. Well, we've got 9 minutes to go. Keep your thinking hats on. Anything to do with boxing and football. Anything to do with boxing and football. That's all you got to do. Renza says I'm watching too. Jeremy said you got to shout this on the show. Come on, Blues!
Come on, Blues!
Come on. Oh, Jeremy, we miss him. And Brenda. Oh, mate, it's horrible. I'm hating this.
I suppose.
What did you make of it? What did you make of it when Mayweather fought Conor McGregor?
Oh, it's really funny that is, to be fair, because I kind of knew that obviously Mayweather was going to smash him to pieces. To be honest, I don't think he's a Blues fan, so we're all right. I don't think he'll be watching this. But there was a guy that was coming past the shop every day, and he was literally like, "Have you seen Conor McGregor, Wayne?" I went, "What? Have you seen him? Have you seen him? Oh, he's looking brilliant, mate. He's going to give your Mayweather so much trouble." I said, "Oh, you're having a laugh, mate. He won't touch Mayweather. He's 50. He's going to be 50. He'll play with him. He'll keep him in there as long as he needs him to. But no, you're all wrong, Wayne. If you want to put some money out, we'll put some." I said, "No, listen, I won't take your money off you." He said, "No, I think this Conor McGregor, he's going to do it. I've been watching the videos on him and all the rest of it." He hasn't spoken to me since the fight. He walks past my shop still, but he never speaks to me anymore. But yeah, I didn't make much of it, to be fair. It was just two guys making a fortune out of obviously bringing two things together, UFC and obviously boxing. Seeing there was a niche there. Mayweather's not stupid. McGregor's not stupid. They made shitloads of money. Fair play to them, fair play to them. But on the boxing perspective, it's a gutting that literally there's much better fighters out there that, that the money he would have earned for that fight would set him up for life. And, there's fighters out there, better fighters than that in the past that literally have never had that opportunity. You wouldn't have earned that, myself included, you wouldn't have earned that throughout your career. And he's just got it for one fight.
Yeah. It reminded me of that old TV show on MTV. Do you remember Celebrity Deathmatch?
Yeah, I do.
Oh,
Yeah. Well, McGregor's supposed to be fighting Manny Pacquiao. I don't know if you've heard, but he's supposed to be fighting Manny Pacquiao next.
Sorry, what was that, mate?
Go on, mate.
Conor McGregor's fighting Manny Pacquiao next.
Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Again, another suicide mission. It's crazy.
Oh, God.
This is it. This is it. Got the Ray Hobro main event stand. Jesse Mouthguard.
Jesse Mouthguard.
I've got Gareth Southport,
I'm struggling with this one. Are you, Mark?
I can't
Peter Glovenkrantz.
Yeah, Peter Glover. All right, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Pretty crap.
Oh, not again.
Quickly, Paul, Mark, Wayne, and Chris, predictions for the weekends. My way, ain't they? Stoke City, away.
Yeah. Up the chip ins.
Yeah.
Chris, first.
I'm still going to go for a win. 2-1 Blues.
2-1. I'm going 2-0. Mark?
I'm going for 1-1.
Chris? Paul?
I'm going to go 2-1 as well.
2-1. Wayne?
1-2, yeah.
I'm going to get 2-0. I think that we do, defensively doing well. I'm going to get 2-0. I'm going to get 2-0 on this one. I think we can.
Linda, believe it or not, has gone 6-0 to the Blues.
Sorry?
Well, the deal is, if Birmingham City scores 6, Wayne, any time this season, Chris has got to do a show in the nude. I've got to say, Papa Khan, hi lads, how are you doing? Hope you're feeling a lot better. Shabba was a guy who fell out the tree trying to rescue his little one's drone and has several spinal operations in the process. So, yeah, everybody's going for a win. It's looking like we're all back in what Crancar's doing. 2-2 from Brenda, 1-0 Dave Twine, 2-0 Paul McCarthy. Yep, so it's all looking good.
We're not leaking. I'm listening to him speaking after the game against Roverney. I think he was really disappointed that we leaked a stupid goal, really, to be fair. So he'll be trying to sort that bit more. Yeah.
1-1. Steve Portman's gone 2-2. Nobody's predicted that we're going to lose yet, though. Thank you.
Confidence is back, and I think that the lads are feeling good again, and you can tell that there's a good feeling about the place. And
that's really good. The
way Karanka comes across is really good, isn't it? You know, he kind of he knows his stuff, doesn't
he? Even if we can't go, Paul, right? There is just a little bit more feel-good factor, and Wayne will tell you this. I'm sure that confidence breeds confidence.
100%, it does. In any sport, I believe that it's a mind over matter thing. It's a mental state of mind. It's a mental state of mind, definitely. I know that from when I was playing football. When you're on a run, I remember on a run you could be. I know we was 2-0 down against one team playing, and we still come back and won 3-2. But the way we were playing, it was like we were winning 2-0, even when we was 2-0 down, because we just didn't believe we could get beaten. It proved the case. You're right. I think that's anything same as in boxing. I've lost 4 rounds in a fight and knocked the kid out in the 5th. It's all about belief. And I think the players have got that belief, and fair play to the manager because he's kind of instilling that. He's having that respect and that belief in your manager. And he comes across really well, to be honest. And I think the players respect that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Real professional.
Ethan Belt. And Linda, thank you very much. Don't forget, people... And I think Linda's got a list of all the people that have agreed to do this year. Don't forget, people, every goal, blue score, £1 is pledged to PTSD. We're all doing that in the studio. Yeah. Our good friends at Bawdsey Labour Club have pledged £10 per goal, which is incredible. And you can join in with that if you wish. You're very welcome to.
That's fantastic.
The more effort we put in, the more we get out.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Can I just mention next week we've got Marcelo on the show.
Marcello next week. That will be an absolute.
That'll be good.
That's going to be a good one. Looking forward to that.
Can I just say, Wayne? Wow! Oh my God! Thank you so much, mate, for giving your time up tonight. Boxing isn't my sport, right?
Yeah.
I don't mind watching. The shows. I think there's again, like football, far too much money involved right at the top end.
Yeah.
I don't like the way Sky have monopolised it now, and you've got to pay for per view. And I understand, you guys got to make your money, and it's not an easy job. And I wouldn't want to stand in the ring getting battered by anybody, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
But wow, thank you so much for tonight, my man. You know what? the comments that have come out tonight, there's just been
inspiration.
Unbelievable.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
No, it's a pleasure. Thanks for having me on. You're talking about, obviously, the Sky Sports thing. To be honest, obviously, I was boxing all my career on Sky Sports, which was, you know, obviously the money's better for me. Obviously, the money was better for the fighters. So you got to look at the fighters' point. It's better. But you know what done me head in was literally, I was winning the titles that the people like Nigel Benn, Michael Watson and all that won. And arguably, you know, could literally walk through your own town unnoticed. When you know yourself, them guys were like, you know, that because of ITV, because it's been on mainstream telly, they were just like, you know, household names. So that killed me. I come in that era after Nigel Benn and stuff. So it was a killer for me, really, to be fair. We had more money, but it was kind of like, no one really knew. You know, it's like, who are you, mate? But that was a killer for me, really, because it did come away. And back then, if you remember, not many people had Sky. A lot of people have got the Sky now, but they've took it to the next level now. Not only is it you've got Sky, now it's got to be pay per bloody view, which is what I hate, to be fair. If it was on normal mainstream Sky Sports, then it wouldn't be that bad. But not only do they pay for Sky Sports, but now they go, next to 20 quid or whatever it is, and you can watch it on pay per view. I don't agree with that at all, guys, to be fair. I know fighters need to make money.
I'll tell you what, I really, really admire you for that comment, mate. I promise you. I promise you. And I know, look, we've all got to make a living, right? We've all got to make a living.
Yeah.
And, you know, and again, I'll reiterate to everybody,
like
just do what you're good at.
Honestly, for me, my career, it was always about the fans, honestly. I mean, I wouldn't want to be boxing now because they're boxing with no crowd. And I said to mom, I said, like, literally, I wouldn't want to be there now. You know what I mean? Obviously, you've got to earn a few quid, but that would just be like boxing in a gym. Like a sparring session with no crowd. I used to buzz so much off the crowd. It was unreal. Everything I did was literally for the people who used to come and support me and stuff. So I think that's a massive thing. And so I'm probably looking at it on that side when I talk about I'm not a big fan of pay-per-view and stuff because I love the fans and I think they pay enough as it is without having to spend even more. But there you go. That's just my take. It's not going to make
COVID-19. We're back in. Well, we're still in the midst of this pandemic. It hasn't gone away. I've just seen something splash up on Sky News that there's 5 new rules the government have brought out. So we'll look into that one in a minute. But for you now and for us as Birmingham City fans, you're right, and that's just all we are at now. With Blue Noses, that's it. Don't matter. I don't care whether you've got a big house in a mansion. If you're a Blue Nose, mate, you're a Blue Nose. I don't care, right? 100%. I really genuinely don't. You're part of the family. You're part of the Tilton Talk family. Thank you so much for coming on. And would you now just give it whatever's on the top of your head a message to all the Birmingham City fans out there because we can't go to games, we can't meet up. We're all having difficult times, and just inspire them.
My message to you guys is literally just keep supporting the team the way we've been over the years. We've been through a lot of tough times. At the minute, the squad's flying. You know, let's all get beyond that. It's a shame we can't get down there and actually go and support me, but we'll make the most of it and get onto your Blues TV and watch it on there if you can, if you get the opportunity to do that. And obviously, you know, when brighter days come and this COVID-19's out of the way, then we can all get together. And hopefully I'll see many of you who are hopefully watching this show tonight down the ground because I'll make I'll close the shop for a Saturday, I suppose, one of the times, and we'll come down there. And hopefully I'll get to meet you guys and obviously most of the people who come and watch the show. I'd love that. And we'll cheer the boys on to victory. I'm really confident about this year and what we're going to do, to be fair. I think we can do really well. It's keeping the faith in the guys at the top and what they're doing, the manager, the players. I just think like now we've just got to stick together. We've always been a massive family and we've always stuck together. The unity with the Blues, I've never felt that any other club have got that kind of unity that we've got. I feel it when I'm playing for the Blues, when we're doing the games and the charity games, the crowds that we get there are fantastic, you know, and the guys who come and support us. So stay strong, guys. Keep supporting the team, and I'll hopefully look forward to seeing many of you in the near future. Hopefully, when this all clears up.
Thanks, Wayne. From myself,
fantastic.
Good night. From Mrs. Brown.
Good night.
Good night.
Sheen.
Good night, all. Keep right on.
Good night, guys. All the best. Keep right on.
And Wayne Elcock, what an absolute belter this has been. Superb. You're an absolute gem, mate. You're a diamond and you're a brother. You're a good guy. And you've got a brilliant accent and I love it. And you're down to earth and you're proper. Keep right on, buddy.
Top, man. Keep right on, guys.
All the best, everybody.
Nice,
we'll see you back here next month.
There's everyone.
More sports, our principal sporters, and this is it. The Tilton Talk Show is now ended.
Good night.
Good night.
Down at St Andrews, we are